Hey, you're listening to the Coffee O'Clock podcast, the show that brings you joy and inspiration, with special guests from all around the world who have an amazing story and expertise to evolve your personal and professional life. I am your host, Burcu ONARANEL, the founder of Joy Marketing and Coaching. Make sure you grab your coffee and get ready to explore new ideas. Let's get started. Hello everyone, Coffee O'Clock. Jaime Duggan is with us today from California, from the place that I love. It is my second home, so I'm additionally happy today. She's a holistic wellness coach, and we will talk about the power of creating authentic health goals, habits, and a lifestyle to achieve your optimal health and wellness. Hi, Jaime. Let's do cheers.
Hello.
Welcome.
Cheers. Thank you. Cheers.
How are you?
There we go. I'm doing well. How are you?
I am doing great. It is just another feeling for me, another amazing feeling for me, like speaking someone from California, because that is really the place that I love. Weather, people, everything is just so amazing. So how is the weather today in California?
It is gray and cloudy today, but it'll probably be sunny later. It has been very, very warm late into the season this year. So we're ready for some fall weather.
Okay. Well, we're ready.
I'm ready for fall weather.
Okay, we are already in the fall weather, and I'm already like, oh, I want summer. But yeah.
Come visit, and you will have the summer. People were at the pool yesterday.
Wow. Okay. I'm planning to. Okay. I'll be there. Jaime, I introduced you a little bit, but can you share with my audience and with me who you are and what you do?
Yeah. So, like you said, my name is Jaime Duggan, and I am a holistic wellness coach. So, really, what that means, a lot of people think of wellness coaches kind of in a few different buckets, either fitness or nutrition or, um, you know, working on specific areas of your life. But what I love to do is I bring the whole body into it. So, from stress management to sleeping, hydration, your relationships. And I like to bring all the different aspects of wellness together to really create the best possible version of yourself. So, not just looking at nutrition in the sense of like what you're putting into your body, like macros, carbs, proteins, fats, but like the quality of that, because things that are very important, to longevity and to feeling your best, to making sure that your entire body is running as optimally as possible.
That is awesome, because some other coaches or nutritionists, they only focus on what you eat, not even the hydration. So I think combining everything is a great way of really achieving the success, because sometimes, well, you know better, most of the times maybe it isn't just about the food. Sometimes it is about the stress we have, the amount of water we have. So can you share more of how did you start this journey? Like, did you have because most of the health coaches or nutritionists out there that I've met, at least, they all had a story where they were overeating, binge eating, or they were fat, like they had this amazing moment that they wanted to change. Like, did you have that moment?
So, yes and no. The Like, not really. I have a little bit different background. I come from a pretty health conscious family. I was raised, eating whole foods and organic, and my mom had a garden. And but I was never athletic. I never enjoyed exercise. I absolutely hated it. But I didn't really have anything crazy that happened. It kind of came together in two parts. So when I first became a mom, I decided that I was going to become a personal trainer because I didn't want to gain weight and get out of shape from having a child. So I was like, I'm going to focus on because I didn't like exercise, because that's not something that I was interested in or enjoyed at all, I knew that I wouldn't be accountable unless I made myself accountable. So I decided
Mhm.
that being a trainer was a great way to hold myself accountable, to force myself to exercise. So that's how I started initially in this industry. And from there, um, you know, I worked as a trainer for a long time, and I did want to help people. At one point I remember really realizing I'm not supporting them in other areas of their life. I'm helping them exercise, but I'm not really helping them improve the quality of their health. They're
Mhm.
maybe getting a little bit stronger, but maybe they're only working out 2 hours a week, or, and not paying attention to what they're eating or their stress or their alcohol consumption, all the things that play into health. Um, but actually the moment came. So I had been kind of tiptoeing into this industry outside of just personal training. But in the end of 2019, I was really, really busy with clients training, rocking and rolling. And then all of a sudden, my pants didn't fit. And I was not happy about that. So I actually went to the doctor and I said, there's something wrong with me. There's something wrong with my hormones. I must be in perimenopause or menopause. I'm tired. I'm not, my pant, like I'm having to buy bigger pants for the first time ever in my adult life. And my focus is bad. Like there's something wrong. I'm tired all the time. And she ran a hormone panel and she came back. She said, your hormones look great. Your hormones look
Mhm.
great. I don't think you're taking care of yourself. And I thought, but I am taking care of myself. I am exercising. But when I really took a step back, I wasn't exercising. I was exercising to check a box. I
Mm.
was eating healthy enough to check a box. I was over consuming. I was drinking too much. I wasn't, sleeping enough. I was
Mhm.
giving to everybody else. And so that was the moment that I actually really switched gears and moved from um, checking the box of activity, like to just committing to being a healthier version of myself. And that's really when the entire process of, like we're going to talk about creating the authentic health goals became a part of my life, and then ultimately business.
Wow. Thank you for sharing, because it is the moment where I'm talking about your moment when you realized that this needs to change and this never happened before. And then you were also thinking, there's nothing wrong. I'm doing all the right things. But then there are things that we miss. So probably your clients or maybe myself missing something that is crucial to create the health that we need, the authentic
Hmm.
health. I love how
Yes.
authentic, because that's the word I use for branding, and I believe there is a power in that word. So how did you even start to work on this? Like, you discovered yourself, and then what did you do to switch your mindset and your daily routine, and then have the change, and then decided to help others? Can you share more of that process?
Yeah. So unfortunately, like it was the end of 2019, which, just fast forward a couple months, and we had the pandemic and the shutdown. And so my kind of poor care for myself continued to spiral for a little bit longer, actually, past, the point of I began to exercise a little bit more, but I was very much focused on, burning a certain number of calories and doing this and doing that, and in a punishment way, but still not changing the other aspects of my life. And so when the pandemic hit, actually was probably the lowest. I was really gaining weight. I wasn't sleeping. I was having insomnia.
Mm.
Like a lot of people, just very stressed out and anxious, worried about the state of the world and the health of everybody. And um so it was in July or so of 2020 that I kind of realized, maybe a little bit before, I really need to shift something. And so it actually came when my mom gave me a book, and she's like, maybe you should read just to read. You don't relax. You don't like you're so rigid and focused on being productive or doing, other things, even in the midst when we couldn't do much, right? This was the middle of the pandemic. She's like, why don't you try reading? And it was actually that book that got me interested in settling down and reading. And I started to go to bed earlier and read at night instead of, drinking. And I began to I decided at that moment, I'm going to just exercise because I'm going to be healthy. Like, not to be a certain size, not to look a certain way, but I'm going to exercise just to be healthy. And
Mm.
I'm not going to worry about every single calorie that I put into my body, because I'm going to just focus on eating good for the long term, not to lose the last 5 pounds, not to fit
Mm.
into my pants, but just to be healthy. And I'm going to focus on my sleep. And this started to snowball into this whole lifestyle of just exercising, whether I felt like it or not. Some days wouldn't be great. There's still, days that aren't great. And not beating myself up over what I was consuming every single moment, but knowing that it was going to be collectively a good choice, drinking less, significantly less, and working on my sleep.
Mm.
And when I started to do that, my clothes started to fit again. I started to get my energy back. I started to get my sense of self back. And so um that's where I really made the change, was in the summer.
I can totally relate to that part of being productive. Maybe it is something that we have been taught from, I don't know. I always feel that way too. And I am working on that. Like, whatever I do, I want to make sure it is going to turn into something good. Like, whether it's exercise, it needs to be good for my health. If it's going to be a book, it needs to be like beneficial either for my clients or for me as a self-development. Like, I can't read something that is just a fiction, or it's just, when you said the book, I thought about my library, and there's nothing that is not going to be beneficial for my self-development. It's all self-help books and or branding books, coaching books. So I think it is very important. My takeaway from what you shared is taking time for ourselves to just be and do something without turning into something beneficial or any results, and that will actually create results for ourselves.
Yes, absolutely. It was, since that, I should actually note that, like, I created an entire bedtime routine, and I have read so many novels since that day. I read
Mhm.
but I set that time aside. I read in bed before I go to sleep.
Yeah.
And creating that, like you said, it's being not productive actually can be really, really productive
Yes.
because it allows us to reset. And that's something that
Mm.
I'm not great at, but I'm working on it all the time.
Me too. I am working on it too. I think it's also an entrepreneur disease that your mind always working. And I realize it most of the time when I finish the work and my husband comes, I always find myself asking him some ideas about my business or something. I'm like, can I just stop? But it doesn't stop.
Hmm.
So like doing something not productive is a great takeaway, and I will pay attention more myself doing that. And please, people who are watching us or listening to us, please take time to do something about nothing. Just do nothing. Sometimes it can be more productive. With that being said, tell us more how you work with your clients. Let's say I am your client, and I am a good example, I guess, because I eat healthy, I go to the gym, and I take care of my sleep. Not necessarily, it's not like super focused. I'm super stressed and productive all the time. And I have been struggling to lose some extra pounds that I have. So, like, when I come to you, how can you work with me? How do you work with your clients in general too?
I always start with the end in mind. I The very first thing that I have my clients do is create their ideal future self, their ideal healthy self. Who would you be if you woke up tomorrow and you had achieved? You felt amazing, you felt sexy and slim and energized, your relationship. So I always start with the end in mind. Where do you want to go? And then from there, we look
Mhm.
at the habits. What are your habits that you have that either A, support you, or B, are not supporting your goals? And then from there, we
Mhm.
work to remove the habits that are not supporting your goals, right? So that could potentially be you working until you go to bed, or
Mhm.
you waking up and working immediately,
Mhm.
not taking care of yourself. And so, how do we identify those things that are in our life that are not supporting us? But then also, what are the things that we need to implement to become your future self? What are the things
Mhm.
that that person who you so vividly described, what did they do? Because
Mhm.
we're a product of our habits. We become what we do repeatedly. So if you continue doing the exact same things without removing or implementing any new strategies or habits, you're going to continue down this stress path, struggling to lose the last few pounds, and you're going to just perpetually be kicking the ball down the road. So I really work
Mhm.
with my clients to become aware of their habits, of the day-to-day choices that are just micro shifts. And so that's
Mhm.
a big part of what we do is we work on like just little micro shifts, because it's really not about making drastic changes. It's about making small changes that you can stick with over the long term, because it's the
Mhm.
compound effect. Whatever you do repeatedly over a long time, you will succeed in. And so the same goes for things that aren't serving you as well as things that are serving you. And then the last piece is really kind of the biggest piece, and that's just the mindset. It is being okay with where you are, moving
Mhm.
from chore into choice, moving from I
Mhm.
have to work out, I have to eat healthy, I have to get sleep, into I get to move my body, Some days it's not going to be amazing, but that's okay. I get to fuel my body because that's what I want to do. It's not punishment to take food away, because every single thing you do is either a vote for, moving towards your goals or away from your goals. Every single thing
Mhm.
you do, every yes is a no to something. Every no is a yes to something. They're not good or bad. So, rather than looking at eating healthy as like I have to do it. Okay, no, you don't have to do it. But do you feel better? Do you feel more energized? Do you feel more focused? Do you feel more confident in your clothes? How can we move from making this something that we have to do into true ownership, which then
Mhm.
will promote, follow through and
Mhm.
compliance, because it's yours to own, not something that you have to do.
I love it. I love that. And it is always easier to said than done. And it just mirrored to me that I always tell my clients, don't use should, like you're not, like you shouldn't use should in your language and have to's, because it is your choice. It needs to be your choice that I want to do this. I choose to do this. I get to do this, like you said, because it's at the end of the day, it is our choice, and the feeling we get from it is actually what we want to reach. So that's like, I always remind myself when I feel like, oh crap, I don't want to work out today. But I always tell myself, it is for you to feel good and be more energized to get through the day, because it really creates that ripple effect of like energy creates more energy. So that's why I'm like, okay, you will be more energetic so you can get more done. That's my motivation of how I
Yes,
push myself to work out. So that's
I
amazing.
love that.
Thank you for sharing. And I also want to ask you, like you explained a little bit, but if people want to work with you, how people can reach out to you, how do you work with them, and is there anything that is coming up for you?
Yes. So I do work with people all over the world. So we do, a lot of virtual trainings, coaching. You can find me on social media, Jaime Duggan, on, Facebook and Instagram. And I actually have my book called Drama Free Health that helps to
Mm-hmm.
outline exactly how to create that authentic, healthy self. It is available on Amazon, and it is inaudible actually also. So for our, audible listeners, rather than reading a book, you can get it there. But it's just going to help you create help you to see the simple steps to become your healthiest self, to be the healthiest version of yourself. Um, so yeah, make sure you
I love
grab a
that.
copy.
Yes, I will put the link below. Make sure you check out Jaime Duggan on social media and look at her book. You can listen to it or grab it and read it. I am the paperback person. I love to touch the book and then read. And I always ask my guests to share one or two sentences to like wrap up the show, or something that you leave with our audience. What would you say, Jaime?
I would say, don't overcomplicate making the healthy choices. Don't worry about being perfect, because perfection doesn't exist. Just take action by making one healthy choice consistently.
Love it. Thank you. I enjoyed a lot. I couldn't understand how the time flew. And thank you so much for doing what you do and being who you are. I love how you're so smiley early in the morning. I love your positive energy. And people who tuned in, please share this episode with the people who struggle with their health and help them in an indirect way so that they can reach out to Jaime. Thank you so much for coming here, Jaime.
Thank you for having me. Thank you. Thank you.
Bye,
Such a
everyone.
pleasure.
Thank you so much for listening. I hope you enjoyed this episode and now you can apply it to your life. If you did enjoy it, please subscribe to the Coffee O'Clock podcast on Apple and leave us a review. I would love to hear your thoughts. And if you feel like someone needs to listen to this episode, share it on your social media or text the link to that person to make an impact in their life. Be sure to tune in every Monday for new episodes. You can also watch the episodes and find more inspiration on my Instagram, which is at JOYYBURCU. Until next time, make sure to spend some time with you and stay with joy.